How do you manage your stakes, and what staking plan do you use? I'm certainly all ears here as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably got a 3-point staking plan. I mean, there's a amount of money that you should have in your head that is basically a minimum bet, in my view. Because if your average stake is say a 1-pointer is 50 quid, and you're throwing a 20 quid at something, then the fact is it probably isn't a bet, and you probably know that, but you're backing it anyway.
Right. So
I would argue, I mean, majority of my bets will probably be a point in football, and then you should have an idea of what your max bet is, and that shouldn't come up very often, only when you've got a huge a huge bet. So I mean, everyone's different. Everyone has their own staking plan. You see some guys have 10-point staking plans. You see some guys have 2-point staking plans where it's the same for everything, and then just a 2-pointer when they want to maximise it.
What's the thinking between having 3-point plan as opposed to a 10-point plan? Is it just because you can't be bothered to work out the depth or the relativity?
I think everyone's very different. I mean, you need to maximise where you see value. You need to maximise that as much as possible. So, I mean, it's very hard. All I would say, the most important thing, and something that I definitely fall foul of sometimes as well, is just the importance of having a staking plan is massive. So even if I'm not here to tell other people how they should do it, but having an idea of what your kind of average bet should be, almost what your minimum bet should be, and having an exact idea of your max stake, then naturally you're going to find something in between that where you understand the confidence. But all I would say is I just recommend that you have one, because it's a good gauge of ensuring that you're putting enough weight on the ones that you really fancy.